Hello, and welcome to this NerdCast on stress, strain, and adaptation. In our Basecamp programs, we talk about the implementation of training load and the response to training load in the stress strain adaptation model known as SSA. What this model is a conceptualized relationship between the application of stress, the response of strain, and how that leads to adaptation. So let's talk about this, break it down a little bit. Stress is basically the external load placed on the system. In this case, you're the system. So what type of external stimuli, external stress are we placing on the system? Strain is the response the system undergoes once we apply stress to the system. And if we apply the right stress to create the correct strain, it will result in adaptation, which is the response to that exercise stimuli. But one of the things we have in modern training and the ability to use data, we can quantify these steps. So when we're talking about stress, we're going to use power measured in watts as the core stress application. We think about applying stress externally to the system. If I'm climbing a hill at 300 watts, that is a quantifiable measurement of stress, how hard, right, what application of stress to the system is, and I can measure that, 300 watts. Why we use watts as a stress variable? As a stress measurement, there really are no variables. A watt is a watt is a watt. It doesn't care if you're hot or cold or stressed or tired or anything like that. A watt is a watt. So it's the most quantifiable, clean measurement that we have. Now, when we apply those 300 watts going up a hill, the system undergoes strain, or it results in strain as that applied stress. We measure that in heart rate, measured in beats per minute typically. Now, you go that 300 watts, you all know your heart rate starts coming up, right? So the response to the applied stress is we undergo strain. The strain measurement that we will use the most is heart rate. Now, there's some others for both these, but we're just going to stick with this fundamental. Now, the reason we don't want to use heart rate as a stress or as a measurement is a heart rate has many variables. Your heart rate can be significantly impacted by heat, cold, altitude. Did you eat well? Have you been sleeping? What's your life stress? So we track the stress-strain relationship, power to heart rate, and some other metrics, but power to heart rate as the core. That gives us an understanding of the stress-strain application. Now, if we do those steps right, apply the right stress, create the right strain, we get desired adaptation in the model: stress, strain, adaptation. In closing, there's one missing element to this we'll be talking about a lot in the program: time. We need to manage the load and fatigue that's happening in these daily stress strain events. A workout, right? Each workout is a stress strain event. We need to manage how we put those together: consistency, rhythm, and progression of those. And when do we rest? When the load gets high enough, we've applied enough repeated doses of stress and strain that we really get the adaptation that we want. Awesome. Hope that helps.